Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the historic launch of the Brain Health Parliamentary Friendship Group here at the Victorian Parliament. My name is Sarah, and I'm a political science student at the University of Melbourne. It is an honour to be here for this landmark occasion, where government, health leaders, industry partners, and the community are coming together to champion brain health for all ages. I will be joined today by my fellow MCs, Shanith and Dilmi, as we guide you through this event.
Hello everyone, my name is Dilmi Rupasara and I'm currently a student at Melbourne University studying psychology with aspirations of becoming a clinical and forensic psychologist. I'm thrilled to be a part of this historical day as we celebrate a new era of mental health in Victoria.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wijeratney, and I'm a medical student at Monash University. It is a privilege to be here with you as we launch this important initiative that will shape the future of brain health, research, and care in our state.
To begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Wurundjeri Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I would like to also extend this respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. It is my privilege to introduce the co-conveners of this world-first initiative, where our state leaders come together to launch the inaugural Brain Health Parliamentary Friendship Group. Please join me in warmly welcoming the Honourable Steve McGee, Member for Melton, to say a few words. Thank you, Honourable Steve McGee.
Thank you, Sarah and Dilmi and Chanath. And I'm just a politician. Isn't it fantastic that we've got young students at university that's the future of this state and this country, and how inspiring that is. So thank you to the three of you. I would start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and pay my respects to the Wurundjeri people, to past, present and emerging. I'd also like to acknowledge two ministers here, Minister of Health, Mary-Ann Thomas, and Natalie Hutchins here, and our local member of Sydenham too, Natalie Hutchins, so thank you. Of course, my co-convener, Tim Reid, member for Brunswick, thank you, Tim, for being the convener of Parliamentary Friends of Brain Health, and of course, Bronwyn Halfpenny, that's just helped us all the way through and had a lot to do with organising this today. And Tissa's here somewhere, Wijeratney, thank you, Tissa. I know how inspiring and how excited you are about today's event, so I thank you. But also our Mayor from Melton, Steve Abushi, thank you for coming along, Steve. And of course, all the lived experience people that have arrived here today, it's great to have you here. Brain health is an interesting topic because, as I said in our caucus meeting, we think about, I won't actually say what I said in our caucus meeting because you'll laugh at me, but anyway, we think about healthy bodies, but we don't think about healthy brains and how that affects the rest of us. And I think it's really important that we now have a parliamentary friends group here at Parliament to make sure that we make people aware of having a healthy brain, of what it does to us in regard to the rest of our bodies and our life, and whether we can prevent certain ailments and illnesses through improved brain health. So I think that's really important. So I congratulate everyone that's involved today. I think I'm handing over to Tim. I think, am I, Sarah? Or Dilmi, what am I doing? Yeah, sure. Okay, so look, I think that's enough from me. And as I say, let's have a great session here and make everyone aware of improved brain health around the state, but also around the country. I should also acknowledge John Ferrara from Western Health. Thank you, John, and thank you to Western Health for their support on this event, so thank you.
Many thanks for those words, Honourable Steve McGee. It is my pleasure to invite Dr. Tim Reid, Member of Brunswick, to address this distinguished gathering today.
Thank you so much. And thanks, Steve, for a great speech. I won't repeat all the acknowledgements except to say that I'm really looking forward to hearing about the concept of brain health. I was having a bit of trouble reconciling all the different aspects of neurology into this concept. So I'm looking forward to learning more about it, particularly because in public discussions of healthcare, we often obsess about death tolls and things that'll kill you to the neglect of things that cause long-term suffering that don't kill you, and migraine being one example of that, epilepsy being another, usually anyway. And so I think that things that cause long-term discomfort and disability are really worth bringing to the fore because they affect not just the quality of life but quality of society. And I was just chatting a second ago with the Minister. We'll probably hear a bit more about this, migraine being so much more common in women than in men, and I've noticed this in colleagues and workmates. So yeah, looking forward to hearing a great deal more about it, and thank you very much, Tissa and everyone, for organising today.
Thank you, Dr. Tim Reid. It is now an absolute honour to hear from our Health Minister, the Honourable Mary-Ann Thomas.
Thanks very much and good morning, everyone. Look, I really want to start by echoing Steve's comments in relation to our student leaders who are emceeing the event today and say, for me, it's a real delight to see the three of you here in the Parliament taking on this job and the confidence with which you've been able to present today. It makes us as MPs, I think, feel very proud of the next generation, and to know that you're all studying such important areas, and we wish you all the best. Can I join others also in acknowledging that we are on the lands of the Wurundjeri people? And as Health Minister, it's really important for me that I always do an acknowledgement of country, because it gives us a moment to reflect on the disparities that exist between the health outcomes between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people. And it's a moment, particularly thinking about all of us gathered today, to reflect on what we can all do to close that gap. Of course, to parliamentary colleagues that are here, Minister Natalie Hutchins, Bronwyn Halfpenny, of course, Tim Reid, Steve McGee, and I see Gary Mars up there as well. It's great to see you all here today for this inaugural friendship group meeting, and of course to the Mayor of Melton, Steve Abuchi. Great to have you here as well, Steve. So my notes tell me, well, it's not World Brain Day today, but that's celebrated on July the 22nd of every year. And that has been being celebrated now for 12 years. And I think I just want to pick up on a couple of the points that Tim made. You know, brain health takes in so many different elements, right? But good brain health is absolutely critical to a good life. And as Health Minister, I often reflect on the challenges that we are all facing, or that our health system is facing, really, as we continue to support people live a good life. We are living longer. That is something to be celebrated. But I've got a real focus on the work that needs to be done to ensure that we can continue to live well into our old age. And that, of course, means securing good brain health. Now, there are many elements associated with good brain health, as we heard, and we see today the Migraine Foundation here as well. Well, as many of you will know, the Victorian Government is leading a national first inquiry into women's pain, and we know that women disproportionately are impacted by migraine. And to be frank, and I'm sure some of our speakers might address this, that often the pain that is experienced by women, including migraine pain, is often dismissed or underdiagnosed by clinicians, because somehow or another women are expected to be able to carry a greater burden of pain without that necessarily being believed or supported. But everything that we can do to bring awareness to the experience of people that are living with poor brain health is important. We know that 1 in 3 people around the world are affected by a neurological disorder. So that means that we, if not ourselves, we all at least know a loved one who will be experiencing poor neurological health. And a healthy brain is important to keep our mind sharp, resilient and active. Steve, we were talking. But, you know, a healthy brain is, as I said, is absolutely critical to a healthy life and a healthy and well-lived long life. Can I thank the incredible work of our sector partners, including the Migraine Foundation Australia, and the work that is being done to build awareness of the importance of brain health. And I also want to give a personal welcome and express my thanks to Professor Tissa Wijeratney, who will be providing today's keynote speech for the research and advocacy that Tissa has led on brain health and the importance of doing work to prevent neurological disorders. So that work of Tissa's has paved the way for greater public awareness and advancement and the prevention of neurological disorders across the world. So again, thank you for inviting me to be part of this. Can I congratulate Tim and Steve as being the notion of a parliamentary friends group is a really important one. It's a way that people come together across political divides to sort of talk about issues that communities are facing, that we all experience here in Victoria, and raise parliamentary or the awareness amongst the parliamentarians of various issues. Can I just also acknowledge who just walked into the room is our speaker, Marie Edwards. Marie herself has a personal lived experience of living, a husband who died of brain cancer, so I know that this is very personal for Marie as well. Marie, thank you for coming in to be part of this today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Mary-Ann Thomas. It is my pleasure to introduce our mentor and global brain health expert, Professor Tissa Wijeratney, Director of Neurology and Stroke at Western Health and Chair of the Migraine Foundation, to address us now.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for those words, and thank you very much all our leaders from both sides and the people with lived experience who are the main reason that I get out of the bed every day, and the youth uprising leaders also. Let me begin by recognizing traditional owners of the land, as mentioned by other colleagues. I would like to remind everyone that not only neurological disorders are the leading cause of disability worldwide. During our first 5 years of life, we lose more humans to brain disorders than any other disorder. That's first 5 years. And then once we pass the age 60, that becomes the leading cause of death also. In between, while it maintains the second leading cause of death, it almost kills our joy completely with other neurological disorders, almost half of us in the world, which means there's no family in the world who does not taste the impact of brain disorders. Have you ever realized that our inner space internally is much larger than the outer space, the entire universe? Have you ever paused to think about how we perceive the outside world as human being or humankind, the so-called mind-body connection? What shapes our identity as who we are, and what shape our behavior? Why do we become anxious? I myself suffered from a lot of anxiety as a young kid, and I remember during my first few years of life, I did not want to see any of my relatives or friends. I found a lot of solace under the bed in my rural hometown in Sri Lanka as I grew up. But now my wife would say that the people have to work hard to stop me talking. And how do we explain the extraordinary human capacities for music, language, sports, creativity, and self-awareness? As a simple clinician scientist, and a neurologist with almost over 20 years experience, I have had the privilege and honor to lead brain health initiative across Australia, my original home country, Sri Lanka, and worldwide for some time now, and including here this historic occasion today in 2025 in our own parliament with the leaders that we ourselves appointed. My life's work has been driven by a deep curiosity to understand how the brain of our brain, from those cave age ancestors to game-changing artificial intelligence, walking on moon and creating absolutely fabulous music and drama and other things. Such remarkable abilities to do what we do today as super clever human beings when you look at the good things that we do. But this is at a time that our brain health is at a crossroad, as I said before, while 43% of us, meaning almost half of us here, live with a brain or mental health disorder today. This was the reason that somewhere around 2011, while I was walking in Footscray Hospital corridors, my office was a blue-colored dustbin at that time. I used that table as my office space as a young neurologist. We had the idea of dedicating a special day to celebrate brain health, and we choose the World Federation of Neurology birthday, 22nd of July, as the day. So it took a couple of years for that to come to fruition. As Honorable Bronwyn Halfpenny know, that the original idea of this occurred about 3 years ago in her office, and today we are delivering it to the world. From 2014 to 2025, over the last 12 years, I am really proud and humbled to say that the World Brain Day initiative had grown into a huge, unimaginable, massive global movement, including over 125 countries coming together despite this political uncertainty that we face. And we also were able to bring World Health Organizations and United Nations under the same umbrella the past 22nd of July, which I led from my home office in Essendon on that day. 2025 World Brain Day campaign was an immense success. In fact, I went to bed around 1 o'clock in the morning, 23rd, and I went to bed. I normally wish myself good night, just in case if I don't wake up the next day morning. But on that night, I felt that my job was done in this world. I felt that whether I'm here or not, that this movement would fly, and brain health eventually would become a household name. So I was so proud, and I felt that the baby that was born in 2014 really became a mature adult who will find its way to make this world a better place to live for everybody. The challenge that we face today, though, is greater than ever. We already know that over 43% of the world population lives with a brain or mental health condition. You know that mental health conditions doesn't come from your foot, it comes from here, brain. These conditions such as stroke, dementia, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, anxiety, depression, ADHD, over 400 plus those disorders, affect every family, every age group, every community. And they hurt us when you have any one of us suffer from these disorders. It completely disrupts the way that we live. It doesn't matter whether you have a PhD or full professorship, or whether you are a minister or prime minister or president for that matter. Unfortunately, though, the way that we deal with continue to remain and under-recognized in our systems of care, whether you look at this from Sri Lanka, South Africa, such a great state, Victoria, Australia. This is why we wanted to change things and put everything under the umbrella of brain health. Brain health is not a health priority. It is an economic priority as well. It is the foundation of what we call brain capital. The collective cognitive, emotional, and social resources are the one that drives our productivity to help us to create, innovate, and build resilience in our society. A strong brain capital base means stronger communities, stronger economy, and a stronger future, and a great Victoria, and great Australia, and a great world for that matter. We cannot separate brain health from mental health, as I said before. There's absolutely no mental health without brain health, and there's no brain health without mental well-being. This is why we came up with the idea of Life's 10, a practical, science-based framework for lifelong brain and mental health. Very easy to remember, like 10 fingers in your hand. Eat healthy, sleep well, be physically active, don't smoke, don't do recreational drugs and use alcohol sparingly, or don't engage in heavy alcohol usage, and manage stress positively. Stay connected, be kind and compassionate to yourself and others. Then, those are the 5 behaviors. Very easy to do, very easy to remember. From the other hand, you control simple numbers: blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, the abdominal circumference or the waist, the circumference, and body weight. Harder to achieve, but easy to remember. These principles are simple, yet they are transformative. The problem is when half of us suffer from these disorders, this can't be done by, even if you build super clever neurologists. We got about 500 of them in Australia, or thereabout, probably about 350 of them are active. Ideally, we should train these numbers like 10 times, 5 times. When I try to inspire medical students, I say that if we change all of you to do neurology, it is still not enough. But even if we do that, we can't do this alone. This is why we need to look at the inverted pyramid. In other words, coming to places like this and going to the community and telling them that we are in trouble and we have to have this bottom-up approach. So this is why these principles like Life's 10 can be embedded in schools, universities, homes, and public policy. They provide a roadmap for prevention, inclusion, resilience, and equity. Today, I invite Victorian government, the opposition, and the entire Victorian community, especially those with lived experience with brain and mental health conditions, to support this initiative and join us to make history. We will take this initiative globally with all my networks. Together, I believe we can lead the world in and world-class patient services, Noel and Bev and rest of the others. And world-class patient services, John, the hospitals that we build. All underpins by Life's 10 and a shared commitment to prevention, equity, and excellence in all what we do. So I invite all of you, let us lead. Let us show that when brain health and mental health are placed at the center of public life, our commitment to flourish, our economy will grow, and our brain capital thrives. Together, we can shift the systems and build a future where brain health and mental health for all ages, across all suburbs, all over the world, whether you are black or white or otherwise, is a right, not a privilege. With that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Professor Tissa, for those moving and inspiring words. It is now my pleasure to introduce my co-MC, Sarah, who won the Outstanding Brain Health Championship Award for her tremendous leadership with Life's 10. Please come and tell us a bit more about your wonderful work.
Thank you, Dilmi. Good morning, my name is Sarah McPartland. I'm currently pursuing a degree in Politics and International Studies at the University of Melbourne. Last year, I had the honour of being part of the Senate leadership team, and I also served as school captain at Melton Christian College. Our college was entrusted by Professor Tissa Wijeratney, co-chair of World Brain Day, with the privilege of developing a template on how life's 10 steps to good brain health could be introduced within a school community. Our main goal was to introduce this practical knowledge on how to protect young brains from cognitive decline and neurological conditions later in life. Our Senate team created a poster that was displayed around our school campus ahead of the event to familiarise students with Life's 10. Over the week, homerooms were able to focus on 2 steps every day as presented by members of our Senate leadership team through pre-recorded informative videos, which were paired with the practical, fun activity to help students engage with what they were learning about. The pre-recorded videos contained educational facts, such as the importance of a healthy diet and being socially active, along with encouragement, entertaining skits, and an introduction or demonstration for the day's activity. The week culminated in a pajama day fundraiser highlighting the importance of adequate sleep, with funds donated to a brain health charity. This enabled students to not only learn how to maintain optimal cognitive function themselves, but to contribute to research aimed at preventing cognitive decline. The aim of putting together this Brain Health Week was to raise awareness and to be a catalyst for expansion, which could then be used as an easy and practical template for other schools to follow. By establishing these good habits now, our generation can enhance our learning abilities and improve our quality of life as we grow older. Thank you. I would now like to invite you to hear from my own mayor, Mr. Steve Abushi, Mayor of the City of Melton City Council, who was awarded Best Mayor for promoting brain health for all ages by the Migraine Foundation earlier this year. Let us hear your encouraging story now.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to join you on this most auspicious occasion. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're gathered on the traditional lands of the Kulin Nations and pay my respects to elders past and present. It's truly an honour to stand before you today and celebrate the remarkable achievements of those at the forefront of brain health, celebrating progress and paving the way forward around promoting brain health and the exciting celebration of declaring Victoria a brain health-friendly state. I want to take a moment to reflect on the profound impact that conditions like migraines and strokes have on individuals, on families and our broader community. We all know that brain is at the centre of who we are, controlling everything from our thoughts and movements to our emotions and interactions with the world. Yet when things go wrong with our brain health, the consequences can be devastating. Migraines, for example, are often dismissed as just a headache, despite the fact that they can be completely debilitating, leaving those who suffer isolated and unable to perform even the simplest of tasks that many of us take for granted. It is crucial that we continue to advocate for better education, greater empathy, and more resources for people living with neurological disorders. That's why last year I took the opportunity to raise a notice of motion at the April meeting of Melton City Council, stating that we should support preventative brain health awareness campaigns, as well as initiatives that raise awareness and facilitate access to brain health resources for our community. Preventative measures such as promoting brain health through lifestyle modifications have shown promising in mitigating the impacts of neurological disorders, and the initiatives led by Professor Tissa and the Migraine Foundation, including World Migraine Day and the Steps for Migraine campaign, serve as vital platforms for raising awareness and mobilising support for neurological disorder prevention. My motion also acknowledged the need to address the growing burden of neurological disorders on individuals, on families and the community, and affirmed Melton City Council's commitment to promoting brain health initiatives for the well-being of our residents. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my sincerest appreciation to each and every one of you to this important cause. You are making a real difference to the lives of so many who often suffer in silence. Well done, and again, thank you.
Thank you. The ground up to deliver brain health messages regularly to every household, helping make brain health for all a household name in the near future. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to listen to real-world stories from people with lived experience of these brain disorders. First, let me invite Mr. Noel Cox from the Grampians to share his story, with support from his wife, Beer.
Good morning, everyone. This is a hard act to follow, to stand up here in front of you, knowledgeable people. I wish you all the very best. I live on a small rural property north of Ararat in Victoria. I've been diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's, and I often lose my train of thought when speaking, but still able to do most manual tasks. I should have put my glasses on, shouldn't I? No, I'll find them. Oh, that's better. Yeah, part of my daily duties on this small farm is looking after stock, operate machinery, use power tools and chainsaws. And over the past few months, I've learnt the importance of brain health and of brain research with can't even read my own writing.
Anyway, I think you say that research would continue.
Sorry about that. That's what brain goes numb. So all I can say is strength to Tissa to continue on this research. You're doing a marvellous job. Thanks very much.
Thank you both. What a powerful reminder of how it is so important to live well with brain disorders, whether or not you're from the city or from the country. Now, let us hear another story from a full-time working mother of three who feared she was developing dementia. Please welcome Mrs. Gayani Ruanpura, also from the countryside.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gayani. I migrated to Australia from Sri Lanka when I was 21. I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son. I'm working full-time, also helping with my husband's business whenever I can. So a busy household, like many of others. Regarding my health conditions, recently I realized something's not quite right. With my brain. So I'm seeing Professor Tissa. So this has affected my cognitive functions as well. I'm only 39. So my memory, ability to speak, ability to multitask, concentration. So it has affected pretty much my daily life. But Professor Tissa has given me some hope. So we're working towards that. So hopefully, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We wish you and your family the very best. One of our missions at the Migraine Foundation is to make chronic migraine and medication overuse headache a thing of the past. Please welcome Stav Sasso to share her story.
Stav Sasso is a chronic migraine patient who is doing very well at the moment. She was going to be here, but I can't see her, so we'll move on with the next item. But you can see her story. She had been a spokesperson for multiple media in the past, ABC, Channel 7, Channel 9, and you will see her face again and again with a good news story.
Right. Thank you everyone who shared their experiences, and let us now look to the future. I invite two young intern doctors from Western Health to share their stories about deepening their involvement in neurology, working with the Migraine Foundation, and their future plans. Please welcome Dr. Christina Carlos and Dr. Adeline Chan from Western Health.
Thank you. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners, the traditional custodians of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. We are honoured to speak here today where we celebrate the launch of the Victorian Parliamentary Brain Health Friendship Group. Christina and I are two junior doctors who have been privileged to work in neurology this year. Work in neurology this year alongside Professor Wijeratney. It was an eye-opening experience for both of us, and as someone who has always been fascinated by neurology, I was able to gain a deeper insight into the function and intricacies of the brain. More importantly though, is linking this medicine to patient stories, experiences, and challenges. We have been so privileged to hear of these stories both in our work and today as well. I hope that understanding this connection will give a deeper insight into how to provide better and more holistic patient-centered care in medicine moving forwards.
We are also privileged to have the opportunity to work with the Migraine Foundation, where we see brain health on a larger scale. Through being involved with the Migraine Foundation, we have gained a deeper insight into the importance of listening and allowing the lived experiences of people who live with different types of neurological conditions to guide how we carry out research, how we advocate for change, and how we plan policy reform to better improve brain health for people from all walks of life. The stories we have heard today show incredible resilience, bravery, and the realities of what our friends, family, and community members are experiencing every day. Your stories encourage us to continuously grow, not only to become better doctors, but also advocates for brain health. Thank you everyone for sharing your stories, and we're excited to continue to work with everyone here today to ensure people of all ages and all walks of life have the opportunity to improve their brain health. Thank you.
Thank you both. I will now invite Senior Professor Sheila Cruther from Portland to share her thoughts on why brain health and scientific inquiry should be everyone's business.
Firstly, thank you very much for everyone who's come today. I'd like to acknowledge our traditional owners, but also all the people who've come along today. Yeah, I have to grow, it's a bit late. But I want to say, we've talked very much today about neurological things. I want to bring home to all of you, the brain is more than that. From the moment you're born, the most important part of you is your eyeballs. And as our gentleman from the Grampians, our farm's just on the backside of the Black Range, you have to be able to see. That really matters. It's what goes wrong in everything that neurological that we're talking about. It's affected by migraine. I can see it in the eye. I'm an optometrist and a neuropsych. And I fell in love with the visual system and the brain at 5 when, in the days when parents left kids in the car, I discovered one of my eye could read the word Chevrolet. To this day, I see it in front of me. The other eye can't. So by the time my mum came back, add to the fact I was so anxious, and now you start to see where brain comes together. I told her I must have had a stroke, or I didn't know what they were, but people had said the word tumour. So the next day we went to a doctor, and yes, he calmed my fears. And I realised it matters. It matters to children. It matters to us later in life. Everything you do depends on vision. 90% of your activities are visually driven. Maybe 10% are off a radio or is listening to something. But then most of us go back to check that they wrote the right things at the bottom of the screen or anything. You lose your vision, you lose your access to life. Your vision drives your circadian rhythms. So your sleep is driven by vision. Your neuroimmunology system is driven by vision. And that's where it comes together. And that's where our research with Tissa came about 10, 15 years ago. My vision said that stroke patients, not only do they have depression, that matters, but if they can't see a lovely flower or anything, it's worse. So we have to maintain things. Nobody, when we went into it, and I was surprised to see one of my students down here in the back, we went and tested people the day after they came into hospital for stroke because nobody had ever done it. And she showed that 2/3 of the people who'd had nothing wrong, because the great part about vision is I could go to their optometrist and check, did they have something wrong beforehand, and was it not just a comorbidity? She showed that 2/3 of the people who had stroke had severely lost half of their visual field. 41% of those people had no idea something had gone, but they knew they didn't feel well. So when we talk about brain health, we've got to talk about the sickness side, but how wonderful our vision is. Today, as we came in on the tram, we went past the gardens down there, and there's a field of daffodils. I felt a bit like Keats and one of those guys. But it makes you smile, and you suddenly realise vision drives everything you see, you do, it fills the brain. So I can see when your brain has something wrong with it. And the most sophisticated motion you'll ever make in your life is the eye movement that your brain's been and your eyes been made in since the day you were born. The sad part is, as we age, our eye movement is fast, so we can't shift our attention. We can't shift what we're thinking about as quickly, nor can we stop ourselves falling over as we get older, because it drives you, the back part of your brain. So what I want to say is we have to keep researching this. We have to understand better, and we have to be really sympathetic to people, because half of them is they don't see you beside them. They don't hear you. That's what ageing's about. And it's when we start to find more and more neurological things. There's so much I'd love to tell you, but we're here to do a short one and to say thank you for coming. Please don't let parliamentarians anywhere forget. Brains drive children's behaviour, so it matters very much to education. Children who don't see well or who don't read well are very anxious, so it comes into psychiatry, it comes into adolescence. And if we go back, and what I was talking about post-COVID, that was the first time we all realised how things can just happen. I'd always talk as though I gradually got older and various parts of me fell off, sort of thing. But what we saw with COVID, post-COVID, where people had only been sick for a week, supposedly only had a respiratory disease, now had gross immunological problems. We began to realise how fast the flu actually affects your brain. Most of us noticed, well, there's stats out there saying that if you have the flu for just one day, the chance of having a car accident is twice as great. That's what COVID brought home to us. It brought home the fact that we had to now really work on helping kids to recover. So they got over the viral part, but they hadn't got over the brain fog. And what's the worst thing about not seeing well is you can't do things fast enough, so you don't notice the street you drove past. You don't notice the step you usually fell over. That's what I did. So thank you very much. Please keep supporting me.
Thank you, Professor Cruther. Please remember to visit the Migraine Foundation website, the Western Health website, and the Chronic Disease Alliance website. Enjoy a brain health-friendly meal from Sinner's Kitchen, sponsored by the Migraine Foundation. Watch for the annual Brain Health Walk, supporting 5 million steps for migraine later this year. We wish you all the very best. Remember, there is no health or wealth without brain health and mental health. Thank you.